Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time we're going to be taking a look at the recent vintage Star Wars auction at Vectis. Now I think there were some real bargains at this particular auction, and we're going to look at what impact this may have had on the wider Star Wars market. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's take a look. So you may remember last year I made a video looking at a Vectis auction where the prices had just gone through the roof, and in actual fact on the back of that auction it put me off buying Star Wars for the best part of a year. I would look at it and I think the market was really hyped, and the prices that were realised 12 months ago were, well, much more than I was willing to pay. So I've put my collecting funds into different things which I perceive are better value for money. Now I'm a collector through and through, and I've seen the vintage Star Wars market change immensely over the decades that I've been collecting. But in the last 5 years, things have really seemed to have ramped up, and the prices have just gone through the roof. Now, I think that's partly because of the Disney getting hold of it, and you've got all these new TV shows and it's keeping Star Wars in the public eye. It's on collectors' minds, and of course there's new people getting into the hobby, people who may have even bought it as kids in the 90s, realizing that there was stuff that was produced in the 70s and 80s and getting into that as well, and they've also got disposable income. So I think there's a bit of that. I think there are collectors who potentially have been turned off the hobby because of the new prices, the stuff that's been selling, and they've put their own collections back onto the market. So it's, it's feeding the demand, as it were. Now the good news is, whilst I was reviewing the recent Vectis auction, I was pleasantly surprised with some of the prices. Now admittedly, not everything was pristine mint, graded in 90 plus or anything like that. There was lots and lots of ungraded items. There was lots of common items as well, with a few gems thrown in. But on the whole, I believe at this particular auction, there were definitely some bargains to be had. The recent Vectis TV and film auctions where there's been Star Wars lots for sale have generated incredible prices for the sellers. So I think that's probably dug a few more collections out of the woodwork to actually go through the auction system. There was Star Wars Celebration, and Vectis themselves had a fantastic stall there with all this, or a lot of this particular auction in beautiful display cases. It just looked fantastic. They did some fantastic marketing. I saw it all over Facebook. Any collector who was interested in vintage would know that this Vectis auction was coming up. So it was very well publicized right around the world, online and at Star Wars Celebration. However, the prices were a lot lower than you might expect, and I've had a bit of a think about that and what could it be. So as most people know, there is a bit of a worldwide recession. The UK itself is not officially in recession, but definitely budgets have been squeezed, and that has to have had a bit of a knock-on effect with Star Wars collectors. It just has to. And not just that, it was only about 2 or 3 weeks, this auction, after Star Wars Celebration. So you would have to imagine that a lot of the die-hard Star Wars fans may have already spent out just a few weeks prior to that at Celebration and didn't really have a lot of money left in their collecting budgets. Finally, I think this particular auction, because it was obviously pulled from multiple collections that have been put into one big auction, I think there was just too much of it. And I think the size of the auction, some of the figures that we're about to look at were listed 5 or 6 times for the exact same figure on the same card. And I think that was a bit of overkill, and it created a bit of a glut in the market. And personally, I think they should have done the auction a bit sooner, maybe prior to Star Wars Celebration, and then kept some of the later lots back for the next TV and film auction. So I think that also had a bit of an impact on the pricing. Anyway, without further ado, let's go and have a look and see what some of this stuff has actually made. Okay, so the latest Vectis TV and film related auction was over 2 days. It was on Tuesday the 25th and Wednesday the 26th of April 2023, and there was an awful lot of Star Wars to be had. So literally lot number 3 here, which was just a standard Kenner Return of the Jedi Gamorrean Guard. Estimated 60 to 80, went for 100. This is pretty much typical of what you're going to see today. So there was lots and lots of the more common sorts of figures, and they weren't making mega money. However, there was some, I believe, some real bargains. There was some great stuff if you were just sort of getting into collecting. But like this one here, a General Madine, quite common, 60 quid. I mean, fantastic really if you were just starting out. But there was also some real high flyers and some real good stuff as well, which we'll see a little bit later on. My suspicion is that Vectis have had lots and lots of collections come in and they've lumped them all into this like specialist sale. I mean, 70 quid for a Return of the Jedi Lander. I mean, you're going to pay the best part of 40-50 pound for a mint loose one anyway, aren't you? So an extra £20 to get one off a card is pretty good. But you know, almost every single figure and card variant was offered during this sale, with a few notable exceptions. Some cheap ships as well. So general run-of-the-mill ships that have been opened and played with. This Darth Vader's TIE Fighter 130, the Falcon 110, the Imperial Attack Base 130. So not mega money. These two went for slightly more than I thought. So this is the B-Wing. Contents is really nice. It says it's unused, also untested. So the contents are in the little baggies and that, but the box is definitely showing some wear. But even so, that went for $240, which was more than I thought that sort of condition box would actually go for. And this one is one that seems to have crept up a bit, the TIE Interceptor. Once again, this was an opened one, so it's been put together, got the instructions and a reasonable box. I mean, not A1, but sort of reasonable. And that was $300 for that one, which I thought was quite high. This was the first sort of really juicy one, which was this Princess Leia here. So this was UKG graded, so it's 75% card, 80 bubble, 70 figure. So overall an 85. Unpunched there. Very, very nice, beautiful card, that one. 1,200 that one went for. So quite a bit of money. But the Princess Leia sort of carded figures have always been some that have fetched the good money, along with the bounty hunters as well. So we'll flick through here, and anything of interest I'll just pull out, really. I did spot a few like little trends and things like that. So the Death Star droid there on the Jedi card. That one once again went for a bit more than I was expecting, but it was UKG graded, 80, 85, 80. So overall it was a Y, 80%. Not bad. I mean, like all these kind of cards, the bubbles do tend to yellow up these days. If you find them nice and clear, those will generally fetch a bit of a premium. But lots and lots of cheap and cheerful stuff here. Some Power of the Force figures. Some of these, they've got 3 or 4 on offer. I mean, this one here, so this Barada, this only went for £200. It was a graded one, a Y70. But 200 quid, that's not bad for that at all. Yeah, the card is not great and it's yellowed and it's been through the wars a little bit, but £200? I mean, you're lucky to find a loose one for less than 150. So is this the softening of the market? I really don't know. So here's a droids. There was a few droids figures, and this is the Canadian droids R2-D2 with the pop-up lightsaber. I mean, really, really nice. It's unpunched. The bubble's yellowed, as a lot of these are. 850. Once again, that didn't seem too outrageous for that one. I didn't think that was too bad. You've got a hand carbonite there, Power of the Force 340. Imperial Gunner 300. Luke Gunner. Luke and his battle poncho, rather, 280, which is pretty good. These sort of tail-end Ewoks, Lumat, Paplu, Romba, all under £200 a pop, which wasn't bad. One thing I did notice was the Yoda figures seem to be going for good money. So this is like an ungraded, standard, pretty standard Empire Strikes Back Kenner Yoda figure here. This went for 300. Not in the greatest of condition. You can see the wear on the card there. But £300, I don't know. I think Yoda, obviously Mandalorian interest, has put the price of that one up a bit. So a little run of Empire ones here. Some of the bounty hunters, IG-88. I mean, these are not perfect copies. They're not graded examples. They're just quite run of the mill. And that, I think, typifies this collection. There was a lot of sort of bog standard stuff, as well as a few gems, of course. But this one went for much more than I was thinking. Empire Strikes Back, Sand People. Near Mint Bubble. Near Mint Punched, 45 back. And at 680, this one went for. Got the Display Arena offer. A little bit of wear on the back there, but 680, that's pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, that was far more than the estimate. What I did notice, there wasn't stacks and stacks of Palatoy. There's some great Tri-Logo stuff, which we'll have a look at in a minute, but there wasn't loads of Palatoy today. Here's another bog standard Kenner Yoda, unpunched, 77 back. Got that creasing along the top there, but really nice clear white bubble on that one. Really, really clear. 460 that one. Once again, I would call more bog standard stuff. There was nice. There was a Palatoy Lobot. That's a nice card, that one. 340. A little bit of wear around the hanger there, but apart from that, you know, it's a nice card, that one. That's a really nice Lobot. Tri-Logo Gamorrean Guard, 110. I thought that was pretty good. Although, got the tear again over there, but that's one you don't see very often. It's been crushed as well, so I suppose condition has reflected the price, really. 110. So that was spot on the estimate. Yeah, a little run of Tri-Logo stuff here. Some surprising, some were, you know, about right. Here's the first really juicy Tri-Logo, which is the Palatoy Meccano Jawa figure. Now, this one went for an incredible 3,200. It's ungraded, but the price reflects it's just sheer rarity. There's a really awful sticker removal mark there. But apart from that, I mean, it's not too bad. The actual figure, the bubble, absolutely perfect. It's a real rarity, that. And if you are collecting the Tri-Logos, which I am myself on and off, I'd love to get a set of them together, but I think General Madine's a little bit out of my price range. That's one, you know, it's one of the tougher ones to get, that's for certain. This was quite interesting. That was the pop-up R2-D2 sensor scope, went for 260. Rebel Commando Tri-Logo, 640 for this one. I had no idea this was this sort of money. But I'm guessing that the standard Kenner one is much, much easier to find than this Tri-Logo one, and that was an absolute minter. Yeah, that was really, really nice, that one. I do like the Tri-Logos. Here's the Tri-Logo Yoda, which I had, got rid of, unfortunately, and it's one I'm waiting to get back. This one had a little bit of wear. This one, it was graded. It went for 520. It wasn't graded. That was just in a GW acrylic case, that one. But yeah, 520. Yeah, a little bit more than I would want to pay for that particular one. Tri-Logo Death Star Droid, 1,200 this one. 1,200. I remember vividly having both versions in my hands, the Kenner version and the Tri-Logo, and I chose the Kenner version, which is subsequently yellowed up. So I made the wrong mistake back then, didn't I? This one went for cheaper than I thought, so 280 for this one. Much, much lower price than I was expecting. Admittedly, it's got quite a lot of flaws. That bubble is absolutely hammered. General card wear along the edges there, so quite lower grade card-wise and bubble-wise, which is possibly why it's gone for 280, which was, in actual fact, the reserve price, you know, sort of the ballpark figure, 280, 240 to 300 rather. Let's scroll down here a bit more. This is another one I've on and off been after, and 220, but had quite a severe card crease along the top corner there, but 220 is not too bad for that one. I would like to have paid more and had a slightly better condition one, but if you wanted it, they were all there. 660 for this one. Once again, that seemed fairly good. However, it had a dented bubble, so it was only sort of graded at good plus, the bubble. And you can sort of see there, the figure has stuck to the card behind it. You can see, so inside the bubble, the blue has actually like come away because the figure's been, over the years, that plastic, it's been heated up, I guess, over time. It's sort of stuck to the back of that bubble, and when the figure's been lifted up, it's come away and it's pulled a bit of the card back off. So that there'll be a little bit of blue on the back of her cape. So that's possibly why, even though this was on the face of it, a really nice unpunched Princess Leia, it's only gone for 660. Much less than I would expect. I would expect that to be a £1,200 figure, that one, in nice nick. Stormtrooper 300, the Hoth one, that's about right, isn't it? See if we got any other highlights here. 1,200 for the Luke Bespin. Now, I've seen these sell for as much as 3,000. And this was a variant because it's packed with 2 blasters, this one. So it says it was graded good plus, but with a dented bubble on an excellent minor surface and edge wear unpunched 79 back card. So you can see in the little corner there that there is a dent where it's obviously been crushed, sadly. But apart from that, it's a pretty nice example. That's one I think that was probably overpriced to begin with and is now coming back to a more reasonable sort of figure. So 1,200 I don't think is too bad at all for that particular one, particularly if it was one you were looking for. I think that was a veritable bargain. One thing we should say, of course, is that you have to add on here 20% buyer's premium. So that 1,200 that buyer paid, he'd have to add on another £240 to Vectis for their fees. So, you know, you're then looking at, what's that, £1,440. So not cheap. A tri-logo hybrid. So this is a couple of highlights. So this is a hybrid Bespin security guard. This is the white version with the moustache. Beautiful unpunched example. This was a tri-logo hybrid card, so the bubble's slightly different. It's got the square edges there. Absolutely phenomenal card. It's perfect condition. That went for £5,000. How's about that? That is well more than I would have expected that one to go for. And a similar thing, this one went for 2,900, the Cloud Card Pilot on the with the hybrid bubble. And look at the state of it. But it's got those black edges like that. The square edges rather. So that's what you're looking for on those particular ones, if you've got any. Worth checking your collection. I do have some of those. The Greedo there on the hybrid bubble, 560. Now we've got a few more tri-logos coming up. As I said, the more common Ewoks were all in evidence. There's another tri-logo Imperial Dignitary, only 160. Anakin, 130. Cheap. I mean, Lando General, 280. R2 pop-up lightsaber, 750. This was an ungraded one, but you know, it says it's excellent. Got the sticker on, which are the ones that I like. Really perfect bubble there. Very nice indeed. 750. That's not bad. I mean, I've seen loose ones go for that money. So this really is. I think there were some absolute bargains here, and I think there was so much. There was so much to actually go through, and masses of choice. This was a bit of a surprise. So this is the PBP Spain tri-logo of Wicket. 540. It says it was a variant and that it was a hybrid PBP back card. So I guess this is the reason why. It's got the Spanish writing there as opposed to the normal tri-logo writing. So it is a variant. But even so, 540. Maybe that went to someone who was a Focus collector, possibly. Some more run-of-the-mill here. Some AFA graded loose figures as well. And here's an ungraded but excellent condition Yak. 280 that one went for. No staff. He looks all right to me. Tiny bit of wear on the hands. That's not bad. This was lovely, the Cantina. The special offer Cantina set. Mint unused contents. Obviously not got the figures in there, sadly, but apart from that, it's got the very rare flash box, a flash with the 4 free figures in. I don't even remember seeing that as a kid. I remember seeing the Cantina. In fact, I had it, but I don't remember seeing that. But all the contents is sealed, complete. Bit of a wear on the box there, just on that one corner, and some yellowing of the tape. But 3,600. Guess that's about right for that particular one. Some more common ships. Nothing too special there. All been opened. Some mini rigs once again, quite common. Yeah, nothing too scarce for loose 12 inches. This is the bits and pieces from the Palatoy Death Star. 190 for those bits of cardboard. That's probably not a bad price because you'll, you know, if you're a dealer, you could put those bits up onto eBay and sell them and probably get, you know, double or even triple your money back if you're looking to buy that to resell. I said lots and lots of the more common figures. There really was. Nothing too special in these. All sort of pretty standard for graded loose. As I said, it was a huge auction, and that's why they had to do it over 2 days. Back to some more carded now. This is a nice one. I've got this exact one myself. The Empire Strikes Back Rebel Commander. 45 back with the Bounty Hunter offer on. Nice Palatoy one, but without the Palatoy logos. It's quite late. But 500 that one went for, and it wasn't mint, but a nice one all the same. A little bit more recent stuff. Some of the well, just recent stuff. Black Series, Gentle Giant busts and things like that. Some of the 90s toys, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. So we won't dwell on any of that because that's not sort of what I'm really interested in. Funko Pop stuff. It's great. There were some bargains to be had. This is very nice. This is a figure I always absolutely loved as a kid. The Power of the Force, or the Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing outfit. I've got a really nice Palatoy 21 bat, but this one is probably my next favourite one, just because the coin is so good. Really, really nice example of Luke there on the coin. I think he's fantastic. That was £1,000 figure that one went for, which is, well, or 1,200 when you've got the commission on. But what a lovely figure that is. Very, very nice indeed. Some more Power of the Force ones here. The R2 pop-up lightsaber, 800 for that one. Wicket Gamorrean Guard. This is a legendary rarity on Power of the Force. 4,800 that went for. That is big money. That is big money. It was graded. That one was graded an AFA 80. So, you know, it is what it is. Far more than I would pay, but it's a lovely, lovely figure, all the same. And the Power of the Force Yoda, 2,200. Yeah, very, very nice, this one. You don't see this one very often. Not perfect. Got the yellow into the bubble, but still very, very nice. As I said, one of the trends I picked up at this particular sale was the Yoda figures have all been going for good money. This was possibly the dearest sale of the day. It was the Power of the Force Anakin Skywalker. It was overall an 85, graded 9,500 this one went for. So very, very rare. And yeah, a nice example. Incredible. Good money for that. Sadly not one I've owned and even had the chance to own. Not even back in the day. This is good, another very, very scarce one. This has been graded as well. Overall 81.4, I think it says there. £4,400 for the AT-AT driver. Wowee. Pretty amazing money, some of these. And then the Power of the Force Yak. Well, we've got to have a look, haven't we? Overall Y 79.1 is what that came out at. This was estimated at 5,000 to 6,000. In the end, it went for 8,500. And then you got to add another 1,600 for commission, another 20% on for commission. So the best part of almost 10 grand for that one after fees. Amazing, eh? Once again, sadly not got that particular one. Then we got a few more standard Power of the Force. I mean, once again, Power of the Force Barada, they're 240. That's not bad for brand new sealed on a Power of the Force card. Comes with a acrylic case. It's not graded, but it's a GW acrylic case. I mean, the actual components of that with the coin and a mint figure off the card. Just saying, you know, it's cheaper than buying a loose one. And you've got one on a beautiful card. Power of the Force Luke Stormtrooper, 850. The three Power of the Force like mini rigs. You got the Tri-Logo Security Scout, 620. The Sand Skimmer 460 and the Imperial Sniper 400. About what they've gone for, with the carded one a bit less. The Tri-Logo Ewok Combat, Hoth Rescue and Endor chase sets, 440, 500, 560. Once again, about what you would expect for nice complete examples of those. You don't see this one very often, the Ewok Battle Wagon. 1,100 this one went for. Yes, very, very scarce in the UK. That one, I'm assuming it was all absolutely mint with the map. It is, but with some creasing to the sealed box. It was actually a sealed one, that, but not graded. A couple more recent bits. Then we got so there wasn't a lot in the way of the really early cards, you know, Star Wars and Empire. Not a lot of them, not compared to all the Jedi and Tri-Logo stuff. But here we are, an original Star Wars 20 back Hammerhead, 400 for that. That's not bad at all, is it? I mean, that is not bad. Little bit of litho damage on the back there. Bubble, obviously starting to turn yellow, but 400 is not too bad at all. I didn't think for that particular one. It's one of the Irish 3-packs. Never remember seeing these at the time. I remember the Woolies packs, like 7 or 8 figures in a bag. Don't remember seeing these in the UK. Not at least where I lived. So that's a really nice example. 3 nice loose figures. That's about as good as these things get. £1,100 that one went for. Yeah, that was weird seeing a UK graded like loose dewback. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. I mean, it's a really nice example, but you know, a bit odd that 400 that went for. So with commission 480, that seems a bit nuts. Never seen one of these before. This is an AFA graded Star Wars board game. It's graded an 80, and you can see it's actually sealed like that. Now that's a really, really common game. And in fact, I've got 6 different versions of this in different languages. It was reproduced right around the world. However, none of mine are sealed. I have actually got I've got 2 sealed Star Wars games in my collection, which maybe they would be candidates to get graded myself. I'm trying to remember which ones I've got now. I think it's Yoda the Jedi Master game and the Battle at the Sarlacc Pit, which is more like a square board game. But $260 for that. I thought it was really unusual to see board games graded up like that. Some more loose figures, some ones in baggies that have been graded as well. Some really nice condition sealed mini rigs, but not graded. All about 100. And there was 160 for a sealed Ewok catapult, which is quite interesting. Mine is the same. I've got a sealed one, and mine has also got that Palatoy sticker on the top. So mine's exactly that particular one, and that went for 160. That, which was pretty cool. Once again, more than I would have expected for something like that. A little bit of the more modern stuff, some of the Lego sets. So we'll skim over that and find some more vintage. Now these are quite nice. They did a few multi-cast signed posters. I think this is probably the best one, which went for £1,100. It had most of the original cast on there, and it had taken years and years to put all these signatures together. So it's a really, really nice item. So £1,100, I don't think that's too bad at all. In all honesty, a lot of those people are now no longer with us. Difficult because I personally, Vectis are fantastic for toys. There is no comparison in the UK for toy auctioneers, but I think they struggle with paper stuff a bit, books, posters, memorabilia, that sort of thing. I just don't think it's their forte. And you know, even though this was bunched in with a Star Wars sale, I don't know, that just seems cheap. And the seller may well have done better putting that in with like a specialist poster sale at someone like Bonham's, for example, in London. But there you go. I mean, it was in a themed Star Wars sale. Let's go through a few more carded now. This one seemed out of place. FX7, 520 this one went for. No particular reason. It's not graded. The estimate was 120 to 160, but it's gone for 520. Don't know why that is. It seems the standard one to me. Yellow in bubble. It's sort of pretty bog standard. They're unpunched. Maybe someone could leave a comment below. Why did that particular one go for that money? Don't know. A couple of people really fighting over it. Once again, more cheap and cheerful stuff, and it really was the place. If you were just, fairly new to collecting Star Wars, there were some bargains to be had here. And as I said at the start, I think this is quite possibly it was so soon after Star Wars Celebration. Some of the stuff here hasn't quite made what you would expect it to make. It's simply because, the collectors had spent out a bit, Once again, that seemed fairly reasonable for this, although it has got the dented bubble. But I've seen that go for much more. But yeah, I've got to admit that looking at it now up close, that bubble would have put me off. But 260 that went for. It's quite nice. I love Star Wars wallpaper, and this is the Jedi one I haven't got. I've got the Star Wars one and I've got the Droids one, but I haven't got a sealed roll of Jedi wallpaper. So yeah, £90 that went for. Probably about what I would pay for that. You just don't see it, and I do enjoy sort of oddball stuff apart from the toys. Looking at a few more here, seeing a bit more modern stuff again. Once again, some more Gentle Giants and the replica stuff. The Master replica lightsaber is really cool, but not really my sort of thing, in all honesty. This is quite nice. So you had Topps hand-drawn sketch cards. There was 3 of them. Really, really nice. So let's just have a little look. Images of Boba Fett, Darth Vader, Anakin. And you got signatures by Stan Lee, James Earl Jones, and Ian McKellen. So there we are. So look at that 3 there. Stan Lee signed. James Earl Jones and Ian McKellen. That Stan Lee card there was released as a Conan card. You can see Conan #1. That was the only, I think, signed card that he ever produced. Then you got some artist cards there as well from the different series. But yeah, not a bad little lot that. 900 seems an awful lot of money for that, in actual fact, you know. But there you go. There you go. Some more modern stuff, some more Gentle Giant busts, which I love, but you know, who's got the room for them, eh? A little bit of non-Star Wars stuff, some superheroes, some Flash Gordon figures, which are really nice to see. They're all between 100 and 250 pounds a pop. A little bit of Action Force. Let's go over to the second page here. Some G.I. Joe, not really the thing. Some nice Mego stuff here. I really love the Mego superhero stuff. Some Ghostbusters and a little E.T. So that was it for day 1 of the auctions. But as I said, it was a 2-day affair. There was so much to do. So we'll go back and have a look at the second day now. Okay, so kicking off day 2, we had huge lots of modern figures. Episode 1, the Power of the Force. Yeah, just the stuff that's really common these days and was bought in massive quantities. You got some of the jumbo Gentle Giant figures, which I think is super cool. Some graded stuff then, kicking off with a graded Boba Fett. UKG 85%, £280 for that. What a great figure that is, isn't it? You got to say. Very nice. But the graded figures, they're not really my bag. I suppose it's nice to have a set of them like that. So, you know, you got really nice ones, but it's just someone's opinion, and I'm just happy with the ones that I've got. The prices seemed about right. I didn't see anything really out of the ordinary, but we'll flick through just to so you can see. Hopefully, you can make out some of the prices that this stuff has gone for. There was a yak face there, UKG 85, went for 640, that one. Don't forget, you've got to add on that 20% buyer's premium, so that made it over 700 for that one. I mean, some of these graded ones, the actual carded ones at the very same auction have sold for less, you know. That Warrock there went for £200, yet we've seen carded ones sell for less. So, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right to me, you know. Anyway, some more Power of the Force here. Here's a very nice R2-D2 pop-up lightsaber. 1300, this one went for AFA 85. What a beauty that is. Very nice. £1,300 plus the commission, of course. Does bump it up a bit, so more like 1,500. Lovely to see. Here's a nice Power of the Force Luke Stormtrooper. Very high grade, 85, 90 on a punched card as well. So overall an 85 grade. That went for £1,200 for that one. Some Empire ones, bit of modern again mixed in. Some of the larger sort of these were German store displays, 200, 150. They were collection only, which probably would have put a few people off, but it's probably because they're so massive. But quite nice to see those, and yeah, can't beat a store display. If you're looking for rarities, that's the sort of thing you should go for, is that sort of stuff and point of sale. Some more modern Lego sets again. Lots and lots of Lego, highly collected. Not really my thing. I love it. I love to play with it. I just love looking at it, but I don't collect it. But I know that many people do. But there was so much of it there, I didn't think any of it went for anything out of the ordinary. It was all about what the estimates were, which is what you want to see, really, isn't it? Now we've got some more vintage loose figures here. Then finally, another actual Star Wars on an original card here. This is the 20 back rather than the 12, and it went for 400 for the Death Squad Commander with the Boba Fett offer. Definitely one of my favourite figures, that one. Very nice. Not the greatest of shape, but there wasn't a lot in the way of these early figures, as we've sort of seen, really. A few more tri-logos. Now, this was very nice. This was the Early Bird set. So Kenner Star Wars Vintage Early Bird package, AFA 60. So graded as excellent. So 6 to 800, actually went for 2,000. That's not bad, in all honesty. I mean, I would have been more than happy with that wear. That wouldn't have bothered me too much at all. So 2,000, very nice. But when you get that, then you've got to get the figures to go with it, which are considerably more. So I don't know. This was nice. You don't see these around that often. I mean, you really don't. And this was not in the greatest of shape. 460. It was missing the stickers that go along the front, and the box is hammered. But apart from that, it's not bad. I mean, I've even seen these bases sell for over 100 on their own now, because you can buy replica backdrops and stickers, which is what I've got on mine, just to put my first 12 on. Sealed Ewok Combat Glider. It's one of the lower end sort of minor play sets. 130. Got quite a bit of wear on that as well. So that's an interesting price point on that one, to be honest. Yeah, some more sort of recent figures and job lots. And that's probably the best way to do it with the recent stuff, is just job lot it all together. So Vectis, of course, were at Star Wars Celebration, and they had those incredible display cases with a lot of the stuff that was auctioned off on display. And I bet that was really good to see it all in the flesh. Beautifully lit. It was the way to market this auction. This is quite interesting, and there was probably some bargains to be had here, because they were doing lots of vintage figures. And this one went for 340, a lot of them with their weapons and stuff. Very nice condition things. Some potential ones there. So if you're in the market to make a few pounds and buy and sell it on, I think some of these little lots of loose figures here, probably not too bad at all. And then it looks like they've sorted out the last sort of 16 figures and selling them loose. Another yak there, also going for 280. A loose R2 lightsaber, 380 on this one here. See how nice the label is. Look, it's not bone white, but it's not bad. 380. Obviously, it's that lightsaber itself, which is worth almost as much as the figure. Nice Barada there for 100. It's cheaper than what I paid for a replacement for mine recently. And that there, look at that. Even EV99 included in this lot. 200 pounds, missing the A-Wing pilot's weapon there. Even so, that seems a good price. Although 240 with the Vectis commission. 150 for a loose set. That seemed a bit high for me for a set out of a box with the faded Max, which is absolutely usual, of course, but all the other bits were there, by the look of it. Although you can't see it, it does look as if Droopy's, there's a little tip that goes on the end of the, like whatever he's playing, the flute thing he's playing. So, oh yeah, there we are, look, flute tip missing, and it still went for 150. That seems very high for that. That does seem high. This was nice. A quantity of used backing cards, 580 that went for. Look at that lot. We've got some other pictures as well. There's a yak face in there. And there are people who collect those. When I had my shop back in the 90s, we used to knock the loose cards out, because we had loads of them, for about £2 each. I kid you not. Oh, they were the days. Nice to see though. I like these. mean, I used to save all mine, you know, with the figures that I opened. I saved them all, but I would also cut the names out because I'd send in for the freebie figures and stuff. Oh dear, that was really nice. Obviously part of someone's big collection. So 580 they went for. Let's see, getting fairly near the end now, sadly. But what a couple of days, and what a lot of vintage to be on sale. But you could say nothing absolutely mind-blowing this time, but it was, you know, some of the more common stuff. But even so, I think it would, you know, if you were there and you were early on in your days of being a Star Wars collector, I think you would have found quite a bit here to add to your collection, because there were some real bargains, that's for certain. It's another lovely Cloud Car pilot, 400 this one went for. On the Empire card with the Admiral Akbar offer, so a very late one. Yeah, that must be the very final one. Collector 48. Beautiful clear bubble on that. That's a beauty, that one. I can see why that went for £400. That's got a lot of eye appeal. I'm sure my friend John over in the States, Action Figure Grader's already got that one in his collection. I don't think there's many he's missing. There's another Luke Stormtrooper. As I said, some of these Power of the Force ones, there was multiple on sale, 3 or 4 of a particular figure, which is why they've obviously had multiple collections come in and they've saved them all back for a dedicated Star Wars sale. £850 that one went for, so just over £1,000 time you include the commission. Here's Power of the Force Yak, a little bit less than the one yesterday. Overall a 70 grade. Still sealed and obviously unpunched, but a little bit of wear on the corners there. That one went for 5,000. So with the buyer's commission 6. Some more recent job lots. Some more vintage ships. Nothing outstanding there. I got Slave One at 190. Dagobah World there, 110. There's an Imperial Shuttle. Well, you know, these are becoming increasingly scarce. This one went for 750. Good plus, complete, untested, in a good plus to excellent open box, including the insert. So pretty much exactly how mine is. And that one went for 750. That one, and mine's the Palatoy one as well. Yeah, pretty nice that. Good stuff. We got the Kenner Land of the Jawas, 180. A very incomplete droid factory going for 100. A couple of Empire lots there for the mini rigs. That only went for £80. I didn't think that was altogether too bad for that little lot there. And this one here went for 100, which was 3 Empire mini rigs. I think that was all right for those. I really do. I think I've only got, well, I've got 2 of them. I'm after the Cap 2, I believe, but in a lovely Palatoy box as well. That would have been the sort of lot I would have been quite tempted with there, in actual fact. Don't mind the mini rigs at all. Got some more loose figure lots. These were unusual. You don't see these, and these were nice graded examples. £200 for the sealed model kits. This is at a time just before the sort of the figures went out. There was all 3 that they produced were on offer, and you just don't see them. So 160, 200, 200. I think that was very, very reasonable for these. I mean, how 70s does it get? Let's be honest. But and there's the other one. You just don't see them. You do not see those around, and to have them graded like that, once again, that's appealed to me in this auction far more than almost any of the figures. This was very, very nice, and I would have loved this one, but a little out of my price range. This is the French Meccano land speeder. Look at that. I'd really, really like this. It's got the Palatoy photograph, but it's all French language, and obviously the Meccano version. You see down here the silver started to unpeel off the side, so that potentially might need re-gluing back down, but that went for 640 for that particular one. But the land speed is a real sort of favourite of mine. A few more, once again, cheap and cheerful, more common carded figures. So nothing too special. Look at that, even a hand carbonite tri-logo. Unpunched. Bit of creasing in that sticker on there. The Bournemouth Toy Centre, that says 360. That's not bad at all, is it? I mean, that really isn't too bad. But we are almost at the end of the auction, and maybe people have just spent out by this time. So I think there were some bargains to be had. But on the whole, I think you can definitely see there was a bit of a softening of the market. What there was a distinct lack of, and whether these were because, you know, they had the celebration, was bounty hunters. So I think this is one of the very few, if not the only, carded Boba Fett that was on sale at the auction, and it's at £1,600 for the perhaps the most common carded Boba Fett of all. This one, the Kenner one there. Yeah, £1,600 plus another 20% for commission, so just under 2,000 for that particular Boba Fett after commission. Yep, some more tri-logos. I mean, you really could have filled your boots. There were some real bargains there. So a tri-logo yak, ungraded. They say it's good plus with creasing and a punched or dented bubble. 1,100 this one went for, and it's definitely been through the wars. You got the creasing on the corner there. The bubble looks like it's been sat on, doesn't it, that one? But still went for 1,100, spot on the estimate, which was 1,100 to 1,500. This is interesting. Just literally an empty Palatoy Star Wars shipping box. Didn't see those very often. I've had one Kenner one through my hands, but it was an entire case of Gamorrean guards back in the day. A few actual original figures now. So these are, you got your R2 here. This is, what's this, an AFA graded overall 75. A 12C back for 1,100. Very nice. Chewie for 560. A Han Solo. AFA graded overall about an 80, £1,300 for that one. A little bit of bubble damage, so not perfect by any means, but at least they had some there. Darth for 1,000, Stormtrooper 950, Luke for 750, 3PO 700, Luke X-Wing 300. Certainly a few bargains to be had. This is a very nice one, the Empire Strikes Back Luke Bespin, 800 this one went for, it's graded, about an 80, but the looks like the box has got damaged, the grading box. A bit of a shame, that's going to ruin its displayability. Yoda on an Empire card, £500 again, a little bit more than you might expect. That was quite nice. That was the Empire Boss figure, 200 that one went for. I didn't think that was too bad. Certainly a nice card, that one. A little bit of wear. It wasn't, you know, top shape, but still quite nice for a couple of £100. These really were, that some of this was the prices that this stuff was 5 or 6 years ago. So it's really nice to see, I think, a bit of a levelling out of the market right now. And as I said at the start, for all manner of reasons, really. But it's good. It means that, you know, there is prospects to be had if you are a vintage collector. There are some bargains out there, and it's not as off-putting as perhaps it was when the prices were seemingly going through the roof. But yeah, lots and lots of some figures are just so common, and it's like this is what it was like in the 90s. Certain figures you just see again and again and again, boxes and boxes. You go in the toy stores and it would be a whole rack of 1 or 2 figures, you know. B-Wing Pilot being an absolute classic example. So here we are. So this is a bit juicy. We got a graded Imperial Shuttle AFA 80, opened but unused. Includes a certificate of authenticity. I don't know what that would be, but 2,000 that went for. So a really nice sealed one. Maybe AFA have just sort of certified that the actual toy has never been opened. A few more nice mini rig lots. Kenner land speeder there, 170. A few X-Wings. None of the ships and that were that outstanding this time round. That was a real rarity, the Tatooine skiff, the original one there, 680. That's a rarity over in the UK. You don't see that one. I don't think it was ever sold over here officially. A couple of Dagobah play sets for 90 and 110. And that's it. So I don't know what to make of that. I mean, it was a really nice sale. There was lots there. I would have loved to have actually gone and seen it and hopefully put my hat in the ring with a few bits and pieces, but there wasn't really anything that outstanding this time round. It was just a culmination of many collections, but still really interesting to see, and I think you'll agree there were a few bargains to be had there. So there you go. So certainly some key pieces were making exactly what you would expect, or even more in some cases. But the glut of the more common items, the stuff that you see time and time again, those prices had definitely lowered. And that really created an opportunity. If you were someone brand new in the hobby, just getting into it, there were definitely bargains to be had. So if you have enjoyed this video, and I certainly hope you have, do please give the video a thumbs up. Do please leave a comment below. Did you buy anything from that Vectis auction? And what was it? I'd particularly like to know. What was it that sort of attracted you to that particular one? Were you surprised that you got something at a decent price? I would genuinely like some feedback on that. Now, I have lots and lots of plans for vintage Star Wars over the next few months. My entire collection is going to basically come out of storage, and I'm going to reassess what I've got and maybe thin some bits down and maybe add to it in other directions. So look out for those videos coming soon. Thanks very much for watching today, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.